For him, it's a textbook answer about what is visibility. Whatever I can see is the visibility, correct? At workplace, what others see in me is the visibility, correct? Is that making sense? So much of a difference, correct? Okay. So we will go over it one after the other, and if you have any questions and all that, we will take over. Done? If you have any questions, feel free to relax. But before we could do, I have 2 exercises for you. How many of us are willing to take up the exercises? All yes. It is a participative. The more you give, the more energy I give. Okay. I know we are not serving lunch here. There is no free lunch, but for sure you will be fed with enough knowledge on visibility that you can carry home. And then you can start to implement in your life as well. Done? Post which we'll talk about other things as well. But we will get started with PSF. How many of us are associated with PFS? PSF 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll just give a little briefing around. Okay. So we have our ex-president Hamad Bhai is already sitting here, and what I can do is I can talk a little bit of PSF. There are 4 verticals primarily in it. Sorry, 5 verticals. One is PEP, which was called Personal Enablement Program, which is to do with the emotional aspect of an professional, where we try talking about Tazkiya programs and all that, which will enrich their inside spirit and the soul around, correct? The other one is about CPDP, Continuous Professional Development Program, which is what we are part of. Are you guys can see? Yeah, okay. So this is the second vertical, which is CPDP. It is primarily to do with development of an individual at work. What are the different things required and how do you take it? So this is what generally this group takes care of it. Skills Academy is for somebody who is searching for a job, or somebody who is wants to switch from a non-IT to an IT. They run an amazing program called Gateway to IT, which is a networking and the rest of the other things that they teach. And alhamdulillah, there are 58 people already placed. When you say 58 people, I don't see that as an individual. I see that 58 families had a resource that is earning for them. So that's an amazing thing to have, correct? At a minimal cost. I think that's an amazing effort. Job and career guidance. This is one of these aspects where they create a lot of, there's another, next week there is another program coming up, which is about job fair kind of a thing, where they're calling recruiters and you can apply for a job and they would get interviewed around, correct? And then sometimes we go to colleges and talk about what is a resume building, how things happen. So those are the other things that we take care in that group. Social service is the beloved one, where a lot of aspects, especially during COVID, correct? PSF was awarded a certificate from the government of Telangana for their contribution to the service to the society, which is an amazing thing to happen again. So what are we talking about? We are talking about CPDP. In CPDP, generally there are 3 multiple programs that we run. First is a mentor-mentee. Mentor-mentee is nothing but somebody who is already experienced in a field, and somebody who is a junior. We try mapping them so that they get a little bit of exposure. The other program is Elevate Your Career, which we will talk a little more about it in the later part of our session today. And what it does, mentor-mentee is more about, as I said, somebody who is an industrially experienced guy would get mapped up with somebody, and that is really helping these days about somebody who is budding into new roles and somebody is already experienced. When they're trying to talk to each other, I think there's a lot of knowledge sharing that is happening, and that is acting as wonders. And the 9th or 10th of June is we are launching another batch for that, and we already have around 40 plus applicants already, and 1/3 of them are mentors and the rest of them are mentees. So that is another thing that is coming up, correct? So we talk about Elevate Your Career. This is the program that I personally run. What we do, as you progress in your journey of professionalism or work, when you were new, your primary skill set was, do you know Java? Do you know full stack? Do you know SAS? Do you know Oracle? Do you know all this? These were the hard skills that you had in you. They took you in. With that, you survived for 5 years, 3 years, 2 years and all that. Now, when the next step to rise or move up the ladder, then another skill set is required, which is primarily to do with how do you carry yourself, what is your personality, leadership traits, and all the other aspects, correct? And for that, the important thing is about being a mindset, being in the right zone, and what kind of an individual you are. I think that's what we cover here. The other thing is about building influence. Majorly, people struggle to manage their relationship with the peers, with the subordinates, or with the super bosses or the bosses around. If they are able to manage them, their life will be much better, correct? Apart from that, do they know themselves a little more so that they can manage everything together, correct? That's where a lot of struggle happens, and that's why you see a lot of politicking happening at office. My manager is not good, I don't know how to handle him, what is his work style, my work style is not matching with him. A lot of troubles come through, correct? And that's how sometimes they make a decision of whether to promote you or not to promote you. If you are able to manage those relationships better, that will be another thing, so that we discuss about it. And creating your brand, unless you're visible, nobody's going to look at you, correct? The other thing is about how do you manage your work. It is not just about putting your head down and just going and working, correct? Then you are called somebody who is doing a lot of labor work and you're a workaholic. But ideally, you're supposed to pick up the right stuff and move forward in life and gain promotions. So ideally, if you put your 20% of your effort in things that you can manage for 80% of your times, then ideally you pick up the right stuff as a projects and then hit only those and move forward in life. How do you do that is what we'll talk about. And there's an amazing framework that I deal with, is MIBP, which talks about mindset, how do you build your influence and brand, and then how do you get the performance. So there is another conclave is what we are starting. Initially it was called as Meet the Professionals, that we are meeting today. We thought today we will rename it as Career Conclave, where we talk about a lot of, this is one of the pieces of it, correct? Where we are talking about how do you increase your or elevate your visibility in office, and similarly programs like procrastination was one of them. So there are a series of programs that we are intent to do so that we build that awareness and right skill set in them to take these things forward. Okay, this is what about I should say what should I say? It is more about TSF as such. Now since we are already here, so let's get started. How many of us have cell phones with us? Okay. Today is which day? Sunday or Saturday? Sir, do we have household works that needs to be done a little later, or anything important that you want to achieve? So whatever you have on your mind, take out your phone. There is an app, whichever app you do, either it is a notepad or whatever, make a list of all of those things. This is one of the activities that I talked about, correct? Are we okay to take that? Yeah, pull up your phones and make a list of things that you have to do in your today. Yeah. You're done. You're free throughout. It means till evening. Yeah, sure. Okay. Thanks, sister, for joining. So let me know if it is visible. Sure. So what I'm telling is, one of the exercises that we are doing now, pick up your phone and whatever activities that you have that needs to be done today, put it in that app. Okay, I'll just give you a minute for it. Raise your hand when you're done. Sure. Thank you so much. So the other activity that I have for you is read what is on the board. Are you able to see? Okay. Let me know once you are done reading. Okay. Now tell me how many F's are there in that. I will bring that up again. Just count number of F's. Sure.
5.
Done? So let's start. How many of us say there are 3? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Raise your hand properly, it's okay. Yeah. Sure. How many of us say there are 4? How many of you say there are 5? How many of you say there are 6? Others have not seen any F's. Pick up, take a stand. Take a stand. 3, how many again? 4? There are no right or wrong answers to it. Okay. 5? Okay. There are ideally 6 of them. You can take a pick and then check. Okay. So like the way by end of this session today, you will figure out another F in your life before you could work. I promise not to waste your time. I promise to deliver the content that will make sense to you. Sure. But the only thing is try being as engaged as possible. If you are reluctant, stop reluctance. Keep that aside. Because all of them are here to gain knowledge and information. The more you open up yourself, the more you will be able to imbibe. The more reluctant you are, it is difficult for knowledge to pass on as well. Sure? Because I will take you through some uncomfortable questions. Probably that is a point where you will start to think a little more about what's happening in your life. Did I make sense? Are we all in sync with that? Yes, no, maybe? Sure. Okay. Sister, is that clear for you? Yeah. Okay. So ideally there are 6. So let's move forward. I would want to congratulate all of you for being here. Can you tap your back? Because you had an opportunity to spend this time anywhere in the world. Outside, it could be Al Sabah just outside. It could be any other place as well. Correct? But this, an effort to start learning a new thing in your life is the game changer for anybody from here. Okay? Sure. So what we will do is we'll start our learning now. So who am I? I'm here and I'm trying to talk. There are 2 designations that I have. One, I work as an assistant vice president with a company called Synchrony and I have 18 years of experience. The other thing is, along with my professional work, I also work with PSF. I'm the vertical lead of CPDP vertical that we are trying to drive these seminars and all that through. And I also run a program called Elevate Your Career, and I am also do a mid-career coaching for the working professionals. I'm the one who invented this MIBP framework, which really talks about mindset, how do you influence people around, how do you create your brand, and how do you pick up the right stuff when you are at work. Sure, that's about me. I am also an upcoming author for a book called Skyrocket Your Career. So that's where all my energies are going these days. It's been a year that I'm trying to put everything together which will make sense. Hopefully it should come out pretty much sooner. Done? So let's get started when I am out of the way. So how many of us wants to achieve 3x your visibility without compromising on your work-life balance or without compromising on your core values in you? That's it? Nobody else? How many of us? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, excellent. So let's move forward. How do we achieve that? Okay. Now there are these uncomfortable questions that I will try asking. Okay, be very free to raise your hand. Now the first question is, are you struggling to secure a high yielding project or a promotion at work? Anybody who is? Okay, thank you so much. Are you feeling overwhelmed and undervalued? Lack of visibility, are you one of them who is resonating with this? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah, okay. Now, do people in office ignore you whenever you have your recommendations to give in a meeting or in a con call or with your boss when you're trying to give your inputs? Do you think you get ignored? Thank you so much for raising your hand. Anybody else? None? Amazing. Okay. Do you really have to work very, very, very hard to get the attention for you? How many of us like that? Okay. Excellent. Correct. Now, do you feel stuck in your career and feel underpaid? How many of us? Salary is never enough, that's a different question. But do you feel like that you deserve a lot more than what you're getting now? Okay. Now, are you unable to connect with your clients, vendor, whenever you get onto these calls, correct? Sometimes you're trying to communicate your thought process, but it is not reaching them. They cut you off in between. How many of us feel something like that? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah, okay. Now, are you finding it challenging to differentiate yourself from your peers? Anybody? Are you finding it challenging? Correct? Okay. So, are you feeling overshadowed by, correct, more vocal and assertive colleagues that you have? There is always be somebody, correct, who will cut you off directly. When you start, somebody says cut. They start the conversation. Do you have anybody in in your life, career and all that? Okay. Thank you so much. I'll ask this question, correct? The last one. Are you struggling to strike balance between promoting yourself and remaining authentic to yourself? Correct. Generally, we say in a typical words, correct, he is manager ka chamcha hai. Correct. How many of us feel if you feel somebody like that? You know somebody like that? Okay. So let's go and then see what all it has to offer. Now let me break the myths. Okay. There are a few myths that we are carrying. First one, my work will speak for itself. How many of us believe that my work will speak for itself? I go and put my 5 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 13 hours. My work should work for itself. My manager should look at it, give me promotions and take me forward. Do you believe like that? Correct? That's a myth again. Correct? Another one, visibility is self-promoting. I go and talk to everybody about myself. Do I think visibility is that? Yes, no, maybe? Correct? The other myth, visibility is only for extroverts. Somebody takes up a team outing activity and they are like all gaga about it, correct? Somebody does some work and they are talking about everything, correct? Somebody gets onto a stage and dances with the rest of them. If it is a female boss or a male boss, they go and talk. Being an extrovert is about gaining a lot of visibility, might not be, correct? The other one is visibility is solely built on luck, okay, which is like a manager ka chamcha hai, jo bole wo karta hai. Done? Or the other one is my experience will get me promotion. Number of years of experience that I spend, that will get me promotion. Correct? This is a myth again. The more time you spend at your work, you are only refining your skill set on the current one. You are getting better at the current work, but not getting real higher. Correct? All these are myths. Now we'll talk about a little bit about research. Is it who I'm telling? No. How many of us know Carnegie Institute? It is supposed to be a world-class institute all over the world, where they have the training programs for CXO leaders and all those things, and that's how they try facilitating. What it tells you? It tells 50% of the success, 15% of the success comes from your hard skills. I know X, I know Y, and that's how I get my success. Correct? The rest of the 85% comes from where? Rest of 85% comes from where? Look at this one. Personality, ability to lead, negotiate and connect. Rest 80% is there. Now what about I go every day, put my heart and soul around, and I am trying to get, promotions and all that. Do you think that will happen? That's what it says, correct? Look at your influence directly affects your growth. It means there is a lot more beyond your core work that you will have to put in. How do you gain that? Let's look at another statistics. Okay. This is Hinge Research Institute, correct? Now they did some survey and then they got in touch with the CXOs or the leaders of the companies and all that, and then did the research around. So we'll talk about few. They tried looking at visibility and comparing against expertise. Okay. Now what did they do? They try putting this together. So somebody with a low expertise and high visibility. What will happen to this guy? If you have a high visibility and low expertise, what will happen to him? Whenever pressure comes, whenever an important task comes, pop, he goes down or she goes down. Is that right? Because you have high visibility, everybody is looking at you, but you can't perform because you don't have any expertise. Correct? The other one, low expertise, low visibility. Correct? Any recession, be rest assured, these are the guys who will be asked to just like move ahead, let's move forward. Correct? Now what's the other aspect? Look at high visibility, high expertise and low visibility. What will happen to them? We'll talk about a little later. Look at this guy, high expertise and high visibility. Are they the prime ones? Yeah? I'll talk about these guys. High expertise and low visibility. What will happen to them? Any idea what will happen to them?
It depends upon the manager, how much they get.
How much? It depends on the manager. Correct?
They are at the
Mercy of others. Mercy of manager. Anybody else? I heard somewhere. Sorry, go ahead.
They are taken for granted.
They are taken for granted. Anybody else? They continue doing the same work. Anybody else?
Promotions will be delayed.
Promotions will be delayed. What? It's okay. What? Safe playing. Correct?
There is a positive aspect as well because this guy has high visibility. He has more of the network and more connected. So you can move out to more people and create a job safe.
It's a low visibility and high expertise is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
But one more thing I
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, they are close to everyone. People like this type of people who are low visible. I mean,
Only your peers.
Yeah, peers like those kind of people.
Correct. Only peers like. Correct. But will peers promote you? It's not a democracy, correct? Hey, I stand up, you vote, and he gets promoted. That doesn't happen. These are the guys that get frustrated faster. Why? For all the reasons that you have told me. Not getting promotions, feeling suffocated because I have brilliance in me, but I don't know how do I get visibility. Anytime you approach to a manager and manager talks to you about it, they tell, hey, you are not visible, get some visibility for yourself. As if it is available in a, in a medical store. You go, ask for a pill, he will give you, eat, and then you are done. That doesn't happen, correct? So we'll talk about a lot more stuff wherever we are seeing where visibility, not visibility, correct? Ideally, behind the scenes, there are two powers you have. There are two powers you have. One, society given power. Like I am a manager. I work with TCS. I work with Cognizant. I work here. I work there. That's the power that is given by the society for you. Another power that you have is a self-confidence, which comes from within. Correct? So there are two powers. But how do we handle those two powers makes a lot of difference. Done? So let's try exploring if there is anything like that. Okay. Correct? Before we could go back to that, correct, I'll talk about these three amazing secrets of visibility. Should I? Should I reveal what's the amazing secret of visibility? Yes, no, maybe? Little louder?
Yes.
Little louder?
Yes.
Amazing. So the first secret is you will have to be seen. What do you mean by seen? When you get onto a call with on a Zoom, Teams, whichever platform, don't hide behind camera. 95% of them don't switch on camera. Reasons? Background is not good, but backgrounds they are already giving you. I am not ready to face the camera. The way I am wearing an attire, it is not convenient to get on camera. Or I am too shy to get on, or else I am too lazy to get onto a camera. Whichever, correct? If you are not seen, you are not visible. Did I make sense? Another one. What is the other one? Known. Be heard, sorry. What is about heard? If people don't talk about you, or you don't talk at the right time on a call. You are sitting in an amazing call. There are other leaders who have invited you for the call. What you do? You have an expertise there, but you sit quietly and not talk. If you are not contributing, why are you there on the call? Company paid you for that call, correct? It is part of your schedule. It is not like, hey, on Sunday we are doing a call, come and sit here. Yes, no, maybe? Correct? But they called you to be there. But do you voice out? Would you lose your power there? Being on that call? If you are not heard, how do they know you are expert at it? Yes, no, maybe? Did I make sense?
Yes.
For how many of us this was a light bulb moment? Raise your hand. Correct? Okay. The other one is about being known. You should know what I should project that somebody else will know me for. Again, I repeat, I should know what I should project that somebody should know me by that. Did I make sense? Correct? Willfully, do you think the actors like Shah Rukh Khan or X or Y or Z, do they project something so that people perceive like that? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah? Example, let's talk about Apple. What do you know about Apple? I'm not saying that 50 rupees wala Apple, but I'm saying Apple as a brand. What do you know about Apple? Smartphone. What else? MacBook, correct? Gadgets. And? Huh? Expensive. Reliable. What else? Premium. Smartphone revolution. Security. Steve Jobs. Correct? Did they come and tell us? They projected this, correct? I am a premium. I am an expensive guy. I am what did this, correct? And that's how you perceived. If they don't project it, then what will happen? Nobody else on the other side would know. Yes, no, maybe? Yeah? It will become Nokia. Correct? So they're projecting something out. Android. What about Android? Not so expensive. Anybody can pick up. Open source. Easy to use. Correct? Anybody can. I'm a mass person. Where Apple is projecting as I deal in classes. Both of them are in the company. Both of them are in the industry. But everybody has their own way of looking at stuff. Did I make sense? So which one do you want to be? Is what you decide. Did I make sense? Unless you do that, nothing is going to come to you. Done? Short. Let's move forward a little. So now there are these multiple aspects, correct? Which is one we talked about, being known, being seen, being heard. But there are other aspects to it also. Correct? One is about visual. How do I project myself? What about visual? Whenever I talk about visual, correct? This is how I project power, which is like dressing and grooming. Correct? There is this 10-10-10 rule. How many of us are aware of that rule? From 10 feet, you can see the person and judge what somebody is looking like. When you are closer, like a 10 feet or closer to that, what happens? They look at your behavior, how are you acting and how. When you start your conversation, first 10 words determine what kind of an impression that you will make on the other person. Done? So ensure whenever you are out, you appropriately dress yourself and move forward. It doesn't matter wherever. Now tell me, on a Zoom call, is it worth to be on a right attire and switch on the video and be there?
Yes.
Correct? Is that making sense? Correct? Now the other thing is about grooming. Correct? Grooming is about, I can go look at your nails. In the childhood we were told, correct? And if you are carrying a beard, how should it be? Always in shape, irrespective of smaller, bigger, grown or not grown. Correct? If you are somebody who keeps the beard or doesn't keep a beard at all, and every other time you see on a camera there is 2 days, 3 days old beard that is showing up, either be clean or keep it, whichever way. If you have a style, continue that style. People are looking at you like that. They don't want to be perceived as somebody who's shabby. Correct? Especially the hair in the ears, nose and all that, all are visible. Correct? But if you are very conscious about cleaning them and all that, the first impression that gives is well-kept guy. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Is it important? Yeah? Should we do it? But how consciously do we do it? Good question. Correct? Let's move forward. The other one is language. What kind of tone and language do you speak to others with? Correct? Is it typical local, colloquial language that I speak to somebody? Or if I am at office, I am speaking to somebody at a professional level. Correct? Sometimes what happens is we or 3 or 4 friends sit together, third person or a fifth person coming in who is from a different religion, caste or whatever. What do? Pull leg. Where? Sitting in office. If it was Al Sabah, question was different. But if it is an office work environment, is it worth doing that? Having fun together is different. Making fun of somebody is different. But we generally do that. Correct? Is it acceptable, not acceptable? Correct? The other thing about speech, correct? Speech has a different version. Somebody talks louder and somebody little softer. Louder doesn't mean you are more powerful. We'll deal with these things again. The other one is non-verbal, which is your body language, facial expressions. No, whenever you are at a given place, if you are, the moment somebody starts, you're like, what is this? Every time you talk, whenever every day there is some change or the other change is happening in office. I don't like all this. The moment that person comes and sits in the meeting room, understand it's all negative. Have you observed anybody like that? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah? Do we know that? Do we want to be like that? Do we behave sometime like that? Do we behave sometime like that? Correct? Now when you behave, does anybody want to be with you? Should we behave like that then? Did I make sense? Correct? These are consciously made decisions every time. World is all about change. Else we would never have had a cell phone in our hand. Else we would all be wearing the dhoti panchi and then being a farmer and being there. We would have never had a fan, electricity or an AC to do it. It's all about change. Just be a little more open to it and control your emotions before you could express anything on your face and as a body language. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Is it helping whatever we are talking here? Yes. Is it making sense to us? Is it worth spending this time? Okay, so we just scratched the tip of the iceberg. We'll get a little more in depth. Some more uncomfortable questions that we will do, where all we give away our power visibly. Okay, let's look at it. I'm thinking whenever I am well dressed, especially for a women or whatever, if they are well dressed and all that, they think all I becoming pretty, I have a gym and dole shole and all that, everything will be taken off. People will ignore anything and everything. Correct? Do I feel like that? If I feel, then I'm losing my power. Correct? The other one is, do I really hide among everybody? Correct? Now I have come here. Correct? I know I'm a speaker. If I wear an attire which is a lot more casual, like a flowery Goan shirt and all that, would you attentively listen to me? Would you listen to me? Correct? कैसा की चाहे उन्हें, अब मैं क्या सुनूं, उन्हें क्या मेरे को बोलेगा? Yes, no, maybe. So are you hiding somewhere in between like that? Correct? The other one is about wear casual clothes and have casual grooming everywhere. We already spoke about this, correct? If you are already very casual in your approach, what will happen? The response is also casual. In professional environment, probably that is what you need to avoid, correct? And buy into beauty standard, which is like, if I have a six-pack, then I look more confident. So let me always strive to have a six-pack. If I wear a shirt of this brand, then that will suit me and I will look better. These are all beauty standards that I have set for myself. Whenever I don't, in any conversation that I have, what I am doing? I am going with low confidence and approaching with low confidence. Did I make sense? Correct? Then what am I doing? I have a power that is given to me and I am losing it. Correct? Sure. The other one is about, I buy whatever is in trend. Today I saw supposedly a movie, Pathan, the way he is wearing the shirt and all that. I go buy that again. Doesn't matter if it suits me, doesn't suit me. Especially those skin tight t-shirts and all that. And I am fitting into it. It is not fitting me. I am fitting into it. When you walk out like that, what will happen? Visibly, dekhte hi bolte uska, "Arey, kahan se le leke aayegi?" Yes, no, maybe? Correct? But if you walk like that to office, what will happen? You had a power of a designation. You don't know how to behave visually, and then you are putting yourself down. Did I make sense? Yeah. All these are important things or not so important? Yeah. Sure. Then let's talk about, correct? You copy a influencer. Somebody told something on the reels in one of the Instagram reels and all that. So if you are wearing as per their style and all that, then that becomes a problem for you. Yes, no, maybe? Okay. Are all these related to visibility? Correct? Do we need to keep an powerful eye for this? Should we get all of these in our awareness when we are approaching office and all that? Yes, no, maybe? How many of us are really hungry? Chai aati bhai thodi der mein. Correct? So let's look at it. So where all do we lose our power? Verbally. Okay? Interesting things, correct? I'll talk about this one. Remain quiet when you are asked to speak. Why were you invited to that call? Why were you invited? To put your expertise. What did we do? There are a lot of leaders sitting there in that call. If I open, what will they think? Correct? Does it happen? Sometimes I feel privileged to be going and sitting there on the call. Correct? They didn't call you because they were serving something there. They called you so that you sit there, something is broken, you talk about it and get it fixed. Did it make sense? Next time whenever we are on the call, if it is needed to add value, will we add value? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Yep, okay. So another one. You interrupt more frequently. पहले वाला तो खामोश था, इन्हें तो रुकता ही नहीं है. I have a point. Correct? Especially in the US calls, if you look at it, they let you talk. You are talking rubbish. Everybody knows on the call. But what is their culture? They let you talk and then they speak. Indians typically, I have an idea, now I need to get it out. And your talk, no. Listen, this is the point that I am trying to make. Correct? And there's one of the calls that I've heard. There's somebody who used to sit closer to my desk in office. You should just listen to that guy. From the beginning till that half an hour ends, he will interrupt 200 people then and there. No, wait. This is not like this, you need to write the code like this. This is what it is. This is what will be the result at the end. No, I've already tested all of these in the past. So somebody is trying to put a thought, wait. Don't interrupt too often. Let them finish their thought and then figure out a time, you pitch in. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Do people make this mistake of interrupting too often? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. Another one. I have a point that I really want to talk. They are contradictory, but I'll tell you. I have a point that I need to talk. I opened my mouth. What did the other person do? Correct? What did you do? Quiet. So, how long do you want to be quiet like that? Okay. Especially when there is a tussle between two peers and you both get onto a call, you start opening, somebody will just cut you. And then you are quiet. You talk for another 30 seconds without feeling anybody, the other person will keep quiet. But do it very sensibly when you need to talk, because there's a thought that you have been trying to do and it is not coming out and it is an important point. Don't stop. Continue the conversation, the other person will keep quiet. Did I make sense? Would we do this going forward? This is not being aggressive, this is being assertive on the call. If I don't, then the value that I create sitting there on the call is gone. Did I make sense? Is that clear for everybody? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah? So somebody interrupts, look at it, and then continue with your, go with the flow, he will stop or she will stop. Done?
What if it is a senior person?
Huh?
What if it is a senior person, manager or director?
So generally whenever there is a senior person, correct, you let them finish thought and then you go by. But more often than not, you don't get an opportunity to talk. When you are talking, somebody interrupts. You continue with that, they will stop. But if it is really a senior person talking, you hold on. Let them finish your talk, finish and then come back. This is the scenario when you have a thought and they are not letting you talk. Did I make sense? You have a thought and these people are not letting you talk. So what do? Continue with the conversation. Making sense? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah. The other one is being apologetic. I am sorry. Did I make sense? Did you understand what I am telling you? Correct? Look at the other sentence. Sorry, I want to ask a question. Correct? You are there sitting on the call to get clarity. So what do? You open and talk. Correct? Don't be sorry about asking that question. The moment you say sorry too many times, there is a power that you have, you are sitting there and that is gone. You are demeaning yourself. Don't be apologetic too many times. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe?
What is the better way to say sorry to interrupt?
Don't say sorry to interrupt you. I have a point. I have a question to ask. Correct? Why are you even interrupting her or him? I have a point. Raise your hand. Lot of other ways, correct? Why am I being sorry for asking a right question there? Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. Now, do you think you are an assertive, but you are an aggressive? It means you are talking nonsense on the call too often. On a call, generally you talk for 3 times. Pick up what are those 3 times. Unless you are the only one you called for a meeting and you only have to talk. If you are part of a project call or whatever, pick up 3 times where you can pick up and talk. The lesser you talk, the sensible you talk, the more value you create on that call. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe. Is it making sense? Is it relatable whatever I am saying? Is it practically implementable? Yeah? Is it relevant whatever we are discussing? Yeah? Sure. Okay. Now let's move on to the other one.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
So, this colleague of mine, what he does always is, whenever he has some question on a slide, he will keep it for himself for now. Then after 2-3 slides, he'll interrupt. He'll ask you to go back to the slides. That speaks about his importance that is. Then he speaks about that question. And then the presenter will answer it. So, it does sound like he is very keenly following things and he does this always. Is that good, bad?
See, we covered this in our Elevate Your Career thing. There are different type of personalities. Few pick up slow and then try responding later. If you are a presenter and somebody is doing that, probably early in the call itself you can say, hey, make a note of these questions, we will answer it at the end. Or else once you finish an important slide, ask a question, do you have any more questions here? Then they will, correct? If that is a habit for that person, probably you try working with that person whenever you are a presenter, correct? Did I make sense? Did I answer your question?
Is that a good thing to do? Ask someone to go back to slides and then
It's a stupid thing to do.
not able to.
Yeah, because everybody's move forward.
Yeah.
You are telling I am too slow to gather. Correct? If I am like that, I will make a note on a paper, I will ask later.
Yeah, that's what you can do on chat, but he'll ask you to go and then discuss it. That's not good.
Insensible. He is losing power of his knowledge. Correct? Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Now we'll talk about, vocal. You speak in a high pitched tone. Generally what happens, whenever you have your team members, you had a meeting with your boss, you are coming on this call. He's warmed up, he warmed you, now you are coming in warming your team. Correct? Hey, this. And you are raising your pitch. The moment you raise your pitch and start to talk, what does other person do? They'll close their ears. They will close their ears, म्यूट पे कर लेते, बाजू चैट चलती है, पागल हो गया आज, आया होगा वहाँ से, घर पे लड़के आया. Correct? Understand your credibility that you are compromising. Correct? If you are really high on emotions, take a break. Start that meeting 5 minutes late, but you take a break. Walk, have a chai, have water, whatever. Get complete sense, sit on that call and talk. Don't get emotions at all when you are on the call. Did I make sense? It could be personal meeting, it could be official meeting, anywhere. Making sense? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. The other thing, mumbling. This guy is talking to himself only. Others are like, hey, try to listen. Correct? इतना हल्लो बात कर रहा हूँ नहीं, I don't know what is his thought also. You do that, you lose power. Correct? Somebody will tell, hey, talk a little louder. Correct? If you are one of those who talks very slow and soft, before the call, shout and come, and then you can talk. Correct? There is something called, I'm forgetting the name. So there is this exercise that you go and do a gibberish talk. You can check on YouTube what is a gibberish talk. If you are very soft generally, do a gibberish talk before the call and then come and deliver that. What is gibberish talk? Check on YouTube, you will get to know. Then that will increase the energy level. The other thing is speaking softly all the time. You speak too slow. Who was too slow speaker as a prime minister? You still know him. People used to yawn and sleep. You cannot be that slow. Correct? Put your thoughts together and deliver. You think you're an assertive but aggressive, correct? We already spoke about this one. The other way you lose your power is when you are.
So one question.
Sure, go ahead.
So you spoke about when you're smoking, when you race off, how do you improve or exercise where you can match up to the people who are in that floor, match up to their level. In case if you're very loud, there are chances where you are a person who's a little louder and you want to tone it down. Do we have any exercises for them or anything as such?
So, generally, correct, when you feel you are a little louder on the call, correct, and sometimes my voice itself is so hard, people take offensive about it. Then start to use a word called please. Not sorry, but please. Correct? Whatever you say, hey, please could you repeat, even if my voice is harder, it will sound softer to them because I added please to it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So these are the things that you can use to soften your pitch is naturally high. Correct? You can do those addition of those words and it will automatically take care. Done? Other thing is stop smoking. Correct? Because that kills your voice. Okay. And look at this first one, correct? When you are called in the conference room, you are sitting there. Correct? What are you supposed to do? Sit properly. What do you do? First one is you're sitting like this in the, I don't know who will come and hit you. That's one. The other one is about, this is one chair which is given for me to stand and sit. I am putting my hand on this one and I'm putting my legs crossed. Now nobody will come and sit there. They'll say isko akkal nahi hai, kahan ke beta. Correct? That's also is you are losing power there. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah. Another one is nodding too much. How do Indians nod? Correct? You go and talk to anybody, they will say, होना है, नको नहीं होना है. This is very popular. Ideally, this is yes, this is no. There is no term like this. Correct? Be watchful and careful about those. Did I make sense? Yeah? Okay. अब इतना घूर के कहीं को देख रहा है इन्हें? Eye to eye contact. When somebody is coming to you, what you do? Don't stare them or glare in their eyes. You are angry, it is understood. Give a short look, move forward. Don't stare at him as if you are going to get into his eyes and pull his heart out. Correct? The moment you start to do that, you are exhibiting a very aggressive approach at office, which is not acceptable. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah. Okay. Smiling too much or too little. Correct? If you have smiled too many times, understand your subordinates think you are not a powerful leader. Correct? So if you are really jovial and sitting on the chair, sitting on the desk and having fun, they will take you for granted. If you are khadus that he is not even smiling, then also you lost your power. Correct? It is okay to smile, talk to people, but not too overmull or not too little. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah? Okay. So last one is shaking hands. Last one is shaking hands. अब इतनी ज़ोर से नहीं दबा देना कि सामने वाला मर जाना जाने थे, कोई को हाथ मिलाए किससे. Done? Especially while in, while you're meeting females, when they shake your hand, don't press too much, do it softly. Islamically it's not allowed, but if you're still doing it, probably you can just softly do it and then move it off. Done? Man likes a firm handshake, but not too firm that you're putting his hand in and out. Done? Yes, no, maybe? Yes. Correct? What are you doing? Whatever I am talking, all this correct, one way or the other, if you look at all of the things, are very easy to implement, but we are not aware, neither we are ignorant of those, and we continue to do that and then lose our credibility in the system, which is primarily my visibility on the total. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah? Okay, now let's move on invisibly. How do we do it? sit on the call, don't take any action. Correct? You're delaying work, you're procrastination. Would it count to be a visible? Correct? What will people say? दूसरे को देख लो. Then another one is these are like cribbers. Correct? There's a problem. Everybody knows there's a problem. But what you're doing, you're talking about the same problem too many times. So what happens with that? You're branded as a cribber. Correct? Instead, figure out or work on the solution piece of it. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah. Whenever you're dealing with anybody, people know the problem already. You going and telling the problem will not solve the problem. You become a problem solver. Does that make sense? It at least ignite a thought in terms of solving that problem. Yes, no, maybe? Yeah, okay. The other one is having casual attitude everywhere. That also takes away your power. You're sitting there, correct? All these are hampering your credibility. In return, your visibility with your peers also. Did I make sense? Yeah. The other one is about, you say yes to everything or you say no to. This especially happens when the instructions come from your boss or your close peer or a peer who has a bigger authority. You either get scared and then do it, or an obligatory activity that you would do it. Every time yes means you're always available and you're not working enough. With that, what also you do is you pick up a lot of work that others are giving. Might be yours, might not be yours. It is always good to negotiate. It is not an obligatory life that you will live there and say yes to everything. There are things that you can stand up and say, hey, probably I don't have time now, I can take it up later. If you need it immediately, I have these 5 things on my plate already. Let me know where do I need to fit this one. If this is the priority, I will drop this one. Done? Yes, no, maybe? Is that making sense? It is okay to negotiate. It is okay to negotiate. It is okay to go back and tell I am busy now. Can I take it later? It is okay to stand up and ask for a timeline where I am telling, can I do it tomorrow morning by 10 o'clock? Can I do it a little later? It is always okay to put those points across. Correct? But don't say yes to everything that is coming. Then what will happen? More work will come to you. You are named as workaholic or somebody who bears a lot of burden of others. Correct? Don't do that. You're losing your credibility. You have fixed stipulated time. You might want to extend help and support, but what you others do, don't put a lot of burden on me unnecessarily. One, what will happen? I spoil my work-life balance. Correct? Because I'm too stressed and too long there. If I get so much exhausted, what will I do with my kids and my, spouse at home? Do they need my time? Correct? So if I burn out my energies here, what will I do there? It is okay to say no. It is okay, I will do later. It is okay to say I'll take it up later. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah?
But sometimes because of priority, you should not say it.
Obvious common sense.
Not always that you can reach vigilance and this mind of sometimes you have to do.
That's what, correct? The sensibility is about look at the business criticality. And if it needs to be done, go back and ask which one do you want to drop from the plate for now. I have 5 of them. Already I am doing. Let's suppose, let's say there are 3 important things that I have on the plate. That's an important and needs to be done immediately. So what do I do? You gave me the fourth one. Do you need it immediately? Then I will have to pass this on and then focus my energies here. I can go back and negotiate like that. But don't say yes and do all the four things, stretching your time unnecessarily. Did I make sense? The amazing thing is they'll be happy to do that. They also don't want to burden you too much. They don't want to burn you. Correct? What they want is somebody is doing work, let me give more work. Because he's not saying no. If it is enough for him, he will come and tell me no. Until then, he's carrying the burden. I'm okay to put it up. My work as a leader is to delegate. I am delegating. You say no, I'll go to somebody else and get the work done. And with that one work, your promotion will not stop. If you take 10 works and don't deliver anything on time, that's when it will get hampered. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah? Okay. Sure. Okay. And seek approval on everything. Correct? There are times that you would, is an important PPT that needs to be made and sent to somebody, or a proposal. You go ask your manager or somebody, it is all okay, it is all fine. Correct? But for every email that you send, you need somebody to come and proofread. Correct? Then you become a more people pleaser than somebody who will do their work. You are being placed in that chair to do your work. You are hiring an assistant who will come and review your work. Correct? Every time go back and ask, boss, this is okay. This is okay. This is okay. What do you think? Don't do all that. They know that they made you sit on that chair for a capable reasons. Take those capable judgments and send it around. If there is really an insecure boss, I want to see it every day and then send it. That is not an approval seeking. That is more of a letting him know this is what I am sending. Correct? But approval seeking is I lift my hand, I go back and ask for an approval. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Correct? Do you want to do something like that? Yeah, go ahead. Do you have questions? No. No. Okay. Yeah.
When someone gets promoted, what they generally does is they call someone from their team and they both write email.
Huh.
The other person will also come to know what he is writing. Some people do that.
So I don't have answer for it. He doesn't know how to write an email.
Yeah.
Correct? And these days there are a lot of AI tools that have come into picture, then I think you can just take it, redefine a better one and then send it around. That is not a right way of doing it, but initially they do it. Correct? And that is okay initially. But later it don't make it a habit. Done? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah, okay. So there is another way. Okay. What happens when you don't have a personal brand? Huh?
You can't sell yourself.
You can't sell yourself. What else? Correct? Casual attitude every time. Correct? We spoke about it. Correct? The other thing is low visibility plus high expertise. Because you have an high expertise, more work will come to you automatically.
Are these kind of people who switch jobs?
What?
These kind of people switch job often because they have experience.
But they are not happy. Correct? I want to be in a place that I am happy. I can't run away from the problem. I will have to stand and solve the problem. Correct? If I build that skill of doing it, I will stick to a place to do it. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Is it worth? Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, sister, I have not been asking you, but everything is all fine. Yeah, sure. Let me know if you have any more questions. Okay. We've already covered this one. Okay? Seek approval from all of them. Okay. Now I will talk to you about ABCDs of personal brand. What could be ABCDs of personal brand? A stands for appearance. Manage your appearance. Always wear appropriate clothing for the event and then move forward. Yes, no, maybe? Is that making sense? Don't always wear casual clothing. Is that yes, no, maybe? Yeah. The other one, behavior. Appropriately behave at every location. If 3, 4, 5 guys of your own religion are there and you have somebody, don't make fun of anybody like that. Done? And always treat everybody with smile and respect, and that should be done. Done? Making sense? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. The other one is about communication. Don't interrupt unnecessarily. Don't take anybody's bullshit unnecessarily. In both the ways, stand up and talk appropriately. Did I make sense? Yes, no, maybe? The other one is about digital footprint. Okay? We always talk about you are happy to scroll your phones with Instagram and all that. How many of us are really on LinkedIn? Correct? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many of us really post on LinkedIn or like or comment? Correct? Yeah. So ideally, there's only 1% of the population on LinkedIn does that work. Lot of them are reading, liking, watching videos. If you really like, why are you scared of expressing yourself there? It is okay. There are enough tools here. Whatever you want to write, ask it to refine, it will refine, put it, go back and paste it. People will say, this guy commented on this. So your digital presence will automatically. If you like, or if you're passionate about proper project management, then put content about project management on LinkedIn. Probably what will happen is you will gain a little bit of expertise and visibility there. Correct? Don't assume that your peer or somebody already knows about it. Correct? And that is initially when I started my journey, I would go back and started putting my post. Correct? To reach my CEO, there are 2, 3 levels up. Okay? And he comes and tells me, hey, I like your post here. Correct? And it happened to be that I picked up some other project which was critical to the business, and then I started to sit with him in his reviews, and he's like, hey, what do we do here? You write amazing post on it. Whatever I was working was a side, but posting and then talking about what the right stuff directly catches their attention. He never commented, he never liked my post. He sees my post. Correct? I don't have to rely on anybody else to pass on my expertise to him. If there is a day that comes and somebody needs to stand, would he at least say yes? Or at least acknowledge sitting there? Yeah? Correct? Because he is seeing me there. That is the easier and faster way of approaching stuff. Done? So this is what I had today. How was the session so far? After this, I'll talk about Elevate Your Career as a program that we are running. Little more about it, and then we will try winding up the session. But so far, how did we like? Valuable, not valuable? Is worth your time, not worth your time? Yeah. Lot more insights, not insights.
It's a practical approach.
It's a practical approach. Correct. What else? Anybody else?
Most of the things we are already knowing it, but consciously we are not putting effort on it. We are taking more casually. So the thing is now when we are doing the same thing, going in a meeting, going to the office, we will have at least this part in our subconscious mind kind of thing, like how we have to behave in that.
Excellent. Can't be better, trade-off for the time that you spent here. Anybody else? Sure. So we also run a program which is called Elevate Your Career, which will try